Steeler fans everywhere, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be celebrating the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-12 victory over the Los Angeles Rams at Heinz Field yesterday. Well, actually, on Sunday, let's say that, because who knows when you're watching this. But as long as you're watching it, that's the only thing. This is the Steelers Hangover, brought to you by Behind the Steel Curtain. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis, and alongside me is my good friend, Tony Defeo, also from Behind the Steel Curtain. And usually we wait about 24 hours after the contest to go ahead and either celebrate or lament. It's called the hangover. Sometimes it's a good hangover. Sometimes it's face down in your own filth hangover. But this is a really good face down in your own filth hangover because we are celebrating a victory that a lot of people did not really see the Pittsburgh Steelers obtaining. So, Tony Defeo, what is up?
Hey, man. Hey, Bryan. Celebrating is the right word. I mean, who would have thought 4 or 5 weeks ago we'd be sitting here with a 5-4 football team. It's right now anyway, in the 6th spot in the AFC and a playoff spot. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we did not think it was going to happen. It seemed like, Tony, there was a point where all we were doing was thinking, look, let's just win some games so you don't have to hear anybody complain about the Minka Fitzpatrick trade, because at that point it's like everybody's complaining about him and we're like, guys, you did not give up a franchise quarterback to get this guy. You gave up the unknown. You gave up door number 2 to get somebody that really could be a franchise player, a known commodity, and nobody, I think, is really complaining about it right now. We will talk more about that, and we want to hear from you because you are our family here, our BTSC family, and if I knew what that meant, and I think I do because Juju says it all the time, I guess I'm lit.
So you're on fire. I think that's what the kids mean by that. I'm not sure.
So I'll have to ask. I've got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old upstairs. I'll have to ask them that if I'm indeed lit, and my daughter, who's 10, will be like, "No, you are not. I'll get one of these." And so I used to be the coolest ever, but now I'm not. But I'm trying, and so Tony and I, we're lit. You're lit. Let's party like it's 1999 or 2019.
We're eating all those victories.
Yum, yum, yum. Okay, now it's getting creepy. So
no, that's what the kids do. You see Zeke Elliott do that all the time.
Really? Is that what that means?
Yeah, it means you're eating victories or whatever. I don't know.
Wow, it's getting even dorkier. I guess maybe it's cooler. Right. I guess it was so much cooler to be in the 1980s, but
it looks cooler when Zeke Elliott does it.
So, hey, I got to take this. I'll take any compliment I can. I guess I'm like that one cool, funny substitute teacher. This is funny. Back at, and I know I have some Johnstown people on here too, so I'm not going to say where, but we had a substitute teacher that he'd be reading a Sports Illustrated all the time. But behind the Sports Illustrated, you could see it peeking out a little Bob Guccione special. Pet House magazine. So
wow,
substitutes don't do that these days. But
I had a sub that I saw on TV like a week later that was a cheerleader for the old Pittsburgh Gladiators. It was great. It was like the best substitute teacher ever.
Really, that's cool. I actually I went out on a sort of date with a former Pittsburgh Mauler cheerleader, but that was from a long time ago. But I think it was a date. I'm not really sure, but that was a long time ago. But with that being said, it wasn't during the Mauler days because I was only 12 when the Maulers were out, and I had a Mauler T-shirt. And you know what, Tony? I still have that Pittsburgh Mauler T-shirt.
Oh wow!
And I have it. I usually have it displayed. It's the original shirt that I have from 1984. I'm looking. I'm going to get myself a helmet one of these days. I want to have because those are really cool.
Oh, they were awesome.
Purple and orangish red helmets. They were really awesome. But here, let's get going. Let's talk about the hangover. Everyone wants to talk about the Steelers and everything. Everybody's lit. We're lit. Yum, yum, yum. We're eating the victories, I guess, if that's what I'm supposed to be saying. And so I guess we're not partying like it's 1999. And somebody mentioned 1999 was a bad year, but I will tell you this. When Prince sung about it in 1983, it seemed really freaking cool. And so Prince Rogers Nelson, for anybody that doesn't know. Real quick, I do have to, I might have to offer a retraction for something that I said last week on, Yeah, I Said It, while I was subbing for for Lance Williams. Now, nobody asked me to go ahead and make this retraction, but I think at the age of 47, I probably should not be challenging Baker Mayfield to a fist fight. And I did. And I probably should apologize for that. Tony, do you think I should?
No. He's a Cleveland Brown. You just don't go to Cleveland. That's all. You'll be fine.
You know what? I have a feeling that I'd probably want to hang out with him if I met him. I'd probably like him, but right now I want to fight him. So, but then I had some people. I bet you, I think it was Senor Slim mentioned that let's jump the fool. That I'm thinking, okay, gosh, I'm inciting a riot now, so I better not. And so I'm going to go ahead and. There's Senior Slim. He's on the live chat. But so I better issue that retraction. So if it pleases anybody at home, I do not want to fight Baker Mayfield at this particular moment. With that being said, let's talk about yesterday or Sunday, as it was, whenever you may be listening to this. What a fantastic game. Now, Tony, a lot of people are saying that this game was an ugly, ugly win. But it's only ugly if you don't like defense. If you love defense, it was as sexy as Tawny Katane was back in the 1987 video for Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. And what in the world is that? I just got some... I just got some weird ad popped up on my screen for panic attacks, and I was about to have a panic attack, and I'm like, did I just lose the podcast? But with that being said, you know, Tawny Katane, before she started beating up major league pitchers, Chuck Finley, I guess, she was super sexy, and so that game, if you love defense, that was a sexy game. I gotta tell you. So what was your immediate thought? What was your knee-jerk reaction to that ball game while you were watching it in real time? Let's start off with Marquise Pouncey sending one skyward all the way to a touchdown for the Rams. Let's hit it.
Well, the first thing I thought was, geez, this might be enough for the Rams to win the game. I had faith in Pittsburgh's defense, but with all the injuries to the offense, with James Conner being out and them being so deficient along the line, with Ramon Foster being out, I was like, that might be enough for them, But the defense held true and got them back in it.
Yes, they did, and we're going to talk about that defense. And usually, I wait to go ahead and take questions. This really isn't a question, but this is a comment I want to bring up because we're talking about how awesome that defense and how sexy that defense is. Stats of the Steelers defense that went to the Super Bowl. 2005, 30 takeaways, 15 interceptions, 15 fumble recoveries. 2008, 29 takeaways, 20 interceptions, 9 fumble recoveries. In 2010, 35 takeaways, 21 interceptions, 14 fumble recoveries. Steelers are on their way to eclipsing all of those numbers the way it is at this point. Andre, thank you for sending it in. This is how crappy of a host I am. I don't exactly know the exact number that they have right now, and I should. Andre did 26. It for us. 26. Andre did it. The 2019 Steelers have 26 takeaways, 14 interceptions, 12 fumble recoveries, and there's 7 games left. Man, I got to tell you. So we talked about how great Minkah Fitzpatrick was. But you know what? Upon further review, after I went ahead and gave him valedictorian in the grades, I need to add somebody else. and it's one Joseph Hayden.
Yes.
5 pass defenses. Now, here's the thing. Minka was incredible, but Minka was heads up, capitalizing on things that happened. That interception that he had at the end, Joe Hayden made happen.
Right.
And Joe Hayden was knocking balls away. Joe Hayden was a monster among men yesterday. And I'm not talking Braun Strowman for you WWE fans. I'm talking this guy was just amazing. Minka was amazing. TJ Watt was spectacular. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we could go on. Steven Nelson was pretty awesome. And
Cam Hayward.
Man, Cam Hayward, when Tuitt went out, he's like, all right, boys, you know what? I've been trying to spread the wealth. I'm trying to take care of my buddy, Stefan here, but you know what? I got to jump in. I'm going to jump in, and I'm taking over, guys. I am taking over, and that's what a true leader does too. Justin Conway, I love this. This is something we're going to bring up. And before I go ahead and bring this up, I'm just going to tell you straight out, I play FanDuel. We talked about I play with Schofield and Hartman. I'm in that league. And one of the sure bets, and I took like 9th or 10th place out of 10 yesterday. Horrible. I shouldn't have. I backloaded it for the 4 o'clock games. I was going to party like crazy. But guess what happened? I picked one guy that completely screwed me. And you know what? I have this fantasy rule. When you're playing fantasy football, when you pick against the Steelers, if those guys don't do well, you don't care. You don't root for anybody against the Steelers. But I'm like, this is a business decision. This is a smart bet. You go with Cooper Kupp. Justin Conway says Kupp, 0 catches. You know what those guys in the secondary did? They're like, no. Little Dikembe Mutombo, doing one of these. I mean, they shut him down, and he's one of the best in the game right now as far as a receiver. You really expected him to. I got to mention someone else. We did not mention this guy, and you got to mention him because he's been kind of maligned. If you look at the guys you're saying that you think people are saying is a disappointment, I'm not. I don't think he's that bad, but let's go ahead and say this guy right here. Mark Barron was even balling out, vaping all day. Thank you very much.
10 tackles.
And then let's go ahead and take that off the screen. Thanks, Vodka Drinker. I didn't realize that we had that in there, but Hargrave created that play that ultimately won the blank game. It's not the really bad one, but it's a podcast. We can say GD, I guess. I don't want to, but we'll go ahead and do that. But Vodka Drinker, it's all caps, so that means you mean business. When it's all caps, you're like, all right, I really mean this. You ever send an angry text to somebody and you get it or you get one? Because I don't send angry texts, but you get an angry text and it's in all caps. You're like, man, I'm in trouble. When my wife sends me something that is in all caps, I'm like, I'm not going home tonight. I mean, that's never happened, but no, I do get the text. But Hargrave was amazing too. Yeah. I mean, Bud had another good game. Bush, people were saying, Bush didn't play that many snaps. He wasn't that great, but Bush was good.
Yeah.
When he was in there, we saw something from everybody.
He wasn't a liability.
There was nobody on defense that I would go ahead and say that was a problem. Now, I will say something that I think is funny. And this is kind of a rip on a guy, but I do like the way he's playing this year. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick has made Trey Edmonds so much better. And Ryan Kellerman, I didn't realize that you put this up here. I was going to say this, but I'll let you say it for us. Trey Edmonds has more picks than his brother Terrell Edmonds. LOL.
What a way to stay present in that moment. You don't expect him to go for that fake punt at the 30-yard line, their own 30 in the third quarter, and for him to stand his ground and make the interception. I thought that was a pretty big play in the game.
That I would say that. Robert Doc Holiday 66 Sadler says, hey, but Terrell Edmonds had like 8 total tackles. That's true. He's playing good ball. I like what he's doing. The one pass interference, it
was ticky tack.
I thought it was ticky tack. You could see why they did it, but you know what? I mean, he's playing a better brand of ball right now.
Right.
So there you go. Oh man, I got to bring this up. Getting bent with Bo, one of our all stars here. And you know what? Like, you're all very valuable. Getting bent with Bo. I mean, I think, in fact, I think that like I don't get text from him, but I think that every time I'm around, I'm getting some kind of message from Getting Bent with Bo on the screen here. So I expect to pull up my work laptop and see Getting Bent with Bo there. Is that a giant fish he's holding?
Yeah.
Or is that a crocodile? Or
it's some kind of manly thing that I couldn't do.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But so here we go. And I got to say this. Now, we talk about all-stars, and I want to bring up this guy here. And I know, look, I'm excited. We're not kind of doing the show that we're supposed to be doing with, I mean, they don't tell us to do format and all this, but Tony, we're jacked up. We're lit.
Yeah.
LIT, we're lit.
We're lit.
So we're feeling good. I'm jumping around, and I know I really don't want to be doing that. And I'm really not ADHD, but I might be soon, because I'm going crazy. I'm not making fun of it, because I mean, I'm in that industry so I really don't think it's a laughing matter. But I'm just saying that I'm all over the place today. I think I'm not drinking. I didn't break into the cocaine stash. I don't have one, but you know, it just sounds, I mean, yeah, I shouldn't make jokes about that either, but let's just go ahead and say this. All right. This guy, when you and I did Blog Talk Radio, all right, we had three guys about five guys that we could really count on all the time. We could count on, there was Bryce from Brooklyn. We had Melvin, good old Melvin Daniels from a little bit all over, but I think he was from Dallas. We had, of course, the Hall of Famer Vito from Jersey. We had
Nick.
We had Nick. That's who I was looking for next. We had Nick from Marietta, and we had this guy from Jersey, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
That's the first time I've ever seen Ken's face.
Yeah.
So how do you think Sean Davis is feeling right now? He definitely watching Minka's success in his position for 4 years. You know what? If I'm Sean Davis, I'm thinking this. I'm a free agent at the end of the year. All right. I called my shot at the beginning. I got hurt, so I couldn't play. But when I come back, and it should be pretty soon.
Yeah.
You would think that he's going to come back pretty soon. And I think I just come in and I ball out and I do what I can, because there's going to be plenty of opportunities for this guy to play.
Right.
And you know what? I just make my seat at the table, and I get this team as far as I possibly can, and I just do what I can. And if he has to play on special teams, if he has to do stuff like that, you do it, you contribute, and you know, it doesn't feel good, but here's the deal. You come in and just like The Rock said, and no disrespect to anybody, but you know your role and you shut your mouth. And that's what you do. You come in and you play hard. People are going to be celebrating this guy, hopefully, at the end of the season as well. So with that being said, Sean Davis, you know, my last name's Davis, so I have like 3 Davis jerseys. Like the entire family has Davis jerseys. But, you know, he's kind of getting Wally pipped here. I mean, like, Wally Pipp didn't know Lou Gehrig was going to, like, he took a day off, not feeling well, whatever. And then, you know, next thing you know, here comes Lou Gehrig, and that guy won't come out of the lineup ever until he was the luckiest man on the face of the earth. So with that being said, Sean Davis, there's no hate on Sean Davis. I mean, I feel his pain, though, but just come in and play, man. And he will, because he's that kind of player. I love Sean Davis. I'm actually a fan, and I think he's going to show up in a very positive way.
Yeah, he's a 3-year starter. When he comes in, he's going to be a great, you know, backup. He's going to be an upgrade over guys like Dangerfield and Kim Kelly. No offense to them, they're great players in their own right. They're great backups, but he's just going to make the secondary even better when he comes in. When he comes back.
Boop, 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 boop. What is that beep? It's the T-shirt alert. T-shirt alert. This is my new thing I just created just 5 seconds ago. Attention, Jefferson Hartman of Behind the Steel Curtain. When it's time to come up with a new T-shirt and you're always thinking of great ideas for a T-shirt, it's got to be Pittsburgh, baby. We've seen Pittsburgh a lot on the live chat, but I got to tell you, I love Pittsburgh. So there you go. That's a T-shirt.
How come nobody thought of that till now? That guy's a genius. I can't believe nobody else thought of that. That's perfect.
Well, he wasn't the only one. It's been up and down the live chat, so I will say that as well. But hey, so I'm feeling good. I got off track a little bit, but I get off track. That's no problem. Tony, your job is to reel me back in, and maybe we could have getting bent with Bo because he's the fisherman. Maybe he needs to reel me back in. Oh, I got me a marlin. So with that being said,
whoa, boy, whoa.
Hey! Now, dude, you know what? I'm feeling awesome, and I'm feeling awesome because this team was not supposed to win this game. No. They were supposed to really expose this defense. Gurley was supposed to go nuts on them. Kupp. I mean, I know that Brandon Cooks wasn't in the game, but they played so well. Gurley was supposed to go off. He did not. And so, with that being said, you know, you got to really celebrate. How many points did the defense give up? Three. And so that's man, you got to love that. And now, everyone's beating on the offense. They're like, yeah, they're winning ugly. I mean, the defense has got to go ahead and get them to the playoffs. Okay. Maybe that's the case. Can that continue to happen? Tony, do you think the defense can keep this going?
Well, yeah, I think the defense is for real. I mean, I think it came of age yesterday. I think if there's any doubt about that defense, that the doubt was squashed yesterday in the fourth quarter when the Rams had 2 drives in the last 3 minutes to try to take the lead, and they didn't even come close. They were snuffed out twice. So this defense there really isn't a weakness on it anymore. It gets after the passer. It obviously takes the football away. It's taking it away at a crazy clip now, and it's great in pass coverage. So it's the secondary's a strength now. So this the defense can keep doing what it's doing. It did it in 2008. It did it in all those years that they listed those Super Bowl years. So why can't it do it this year? It's got 2 guys playing at a level where you could legitimately say they deserve to be in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt and Minka. So yeah, this defense can keep doing it for sure.
And William Scott Collier says that if it happens, the defense does what you say it's going to do, Tony. It's going to be led by Pittsburgh Impact Trick. I absolutely love it. Now look, a lot of people are getting on the offense, but you know who's not? Dante Harris is not getting on the offense. And you know what? I kind of agree with Dante here. Let's read this one out for those of the folks that are listening and not watching. The offense is getting better despite needing a lot of work running the ball. We need our wide receivers to grow up fast to make a Super Bowl run. You know what? You're right, but they're growing, and I love what they're doing. I'd love to have one more guy in there that you can trust. It's not Des Bryant. I mean, it just isn't. But you have 3 guys in there that are really starting. They're making things happen. That's a tremendous trio. That's, a very young trio. I love it. In fact, I think Deontay Johnson is older than Juju Smith-Schuster, if I am not mistaken. But that's something I would have to check on, but I'm pretty sure he is. And then James Washington had a great game. James Washington had a fumble. Deontay had a key drop. Vance McDonald had a key drop. Juju had a key drop. Got to clean that up, but that's not a lot to clean up. Where you got to clean up, you got to clean up the running game. Well, not just clean up. You've got to fix the running game. And I think you can fix the running game by having a healthy James Conner. And it almost seems like, you know what? Jeff Hartman made a comment on the post game yesterday, and I listened to the entire post game because I'm told that I'm not a team player. But Dill Winnett tells us Deontay is 23, Juju's 22. There you go. So You know what? I get joked because I'm not a team player, but you guys know I'm a team player. But with that being said, I listened to the whole show, and Jeff said something that I really liked. It was like, do you think that they were actually holding out Connor for the Cleveland game? Think maybe he possibly could have went, and they might really. That's maybe something they might have done. You never know, but
it doesn't seem likely. But because I think they definitely needed all hands on deck for against that defense yesterday. But who knows? I mean, I wasn't expecting Matt Filer to be the starting left guard, but when Tomlin explained it at the press conference, it made perfect sense. He wanted 3 big tackles in there to take on their pass rush. So, who knows what they're thinking? But I just hope he plays this Thursday because they need him big time.
Tony, you got to read this one. Can you read this one for me?
I saw bad in the Finney pants. Dude is a team player. Yes. Now, I saw that too.
No, great story. So yesterday, and I am a guy, and one of these days in the off season, I'll tell you about having my Steeler camos burn back in 2002. I'll tell you that story another time. We're not going to get into it now, but I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, we need a little something extra. I saw a picture yesterday with, which I was really greatly disappointed on because Dave Schofield had a picture with Pittsburgh Dad at the game. And I was like so mad. I'm like, my enemy, which he doesn't even know he's my enemy. And I bet you if I hung out with him, I'd love him and I'd be buying him stuff.
I'm jealous.
He'd be one of my favorite guys ever. But I'm just that jealous jerk. And so I have made him my own enemy. But I bet you now my quest to actually meet up with the guy at the Buffalo game. So, I mean, but anyways, I'm starting to admit that he's actually somewhat funny. How about that? But anyways, so I saw that. I'm like, okay, Dave has the Kylo Ren helmet. He's ready to go. He's fired up. I need a little something extra. And I was going to a buddy's house, and I put on the Finney pants. And my wife looks at me and goes, you look absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to Mike's house. It's not a big deal. And then so I'm on the way out the door, and then my wife goes, hey, did you leave my keys? I gotta go pick up the did you leave your keys? Because I gotta go pick up the other car at Sam's Club for the battery that we got. And I'm like, oh, I left the entire set of keys at Sam's Club. I'm like, and then it was determined that I got to go to Sam's Club now. Not only am I wearing the Finney pants, but I have eye black on, which is my daughter's black eyeshadow. She's 10. I don't know why she has black eyeshadow, but I'm wearing black eyeshadow as eye black. And I walk in, and they didn't have my van ready. And I'm like, and then I'm going to be angry consumer guy going like, look, I told you to have it ready. And I couldn't because I'm walking in with Finney pants that aren't even belting up for some reason. Too much Permane Brothers, I guess. I don't know. But, so what happened? So here I am, and the guy at Sam's Club is this young guy who's like talking about Minka, and he's like a Steeler fan. He's like, man, you really love the Steelers, don't you? Because I have the iPad on. I'm watching the game. I'm trying to write an article and all this and deal with my wife's car. So I ended up going there, and then my buddy calls me and says, hey, I don't have the game on. So we have to come to your house. So here, I could have stayed home. I wouldn't even have had to have gone. She could have taken my car. It would have been fine. But now I went out in public wearing the Finney pants. Everybody looked at me, and then I'm like, I just got to that point where I'm not even embarrassed. I'm a Steeler fan. I'm proud of it. I'm wearing the Finneys. Finneys brought us luck. I'm wearing the Finneys again, and I'm probably wearing them on December 15th to the Buffalo game. Yes. So the Finneys are coming out. Or, hey, we're in Pittsburgh. I'm going to Pittsburgh, so the Finneys are coming at. They're coming at. I'm going downtown with the Finneys on, and we're going to party. I don't even know what that was. But anyways, so I don't even know where I'm going with this. But the bottom line to the whole thing is, reason we're fired up about this game is because they just came to play, and even the offense came to play. They didn't get it going, but when you get James Conner back, you're going to take more pressure off of Mason. Everyone's talking about how Mason, is the problem with this team. He's not. I mean, we could get into all that, and we can get into a few things, but I just really think that Mason is growing. I think he is. I mean, his third down, Mason Rudolph on third down is a lot better than you would think. Even third and long, he gets stuff done. Now, let's go ahead. Let's do this. I want to talk. I want to further the thought, but I don't want to lose this. So, a super chat. I just wish we had a halfback that could take the roof off the defense in one play. I really do. And, that could be James Conner. Vodka, thanks for the $5. I appreciate that. And if you do want to support the show, you can with the live chat and the super chat feature, that little dollar sign down there gets you to the head of the class. But the real way to support our show is to subscribe and to hit like and to tell all your friends about it. Because, I have a buddy that, he said, yeah, I listen to it sometimes. How do you do it? Whatever. I'm like, dude, just subscribe. Yeah. All you have to do is just subscribe. Now, every time he sees it, he's like on all the time. I see him on other shows. He's on other shows now, just watching, because now he's completely into it.
Yeah, as soon as we went live tonight, I got the notification on my laptop and on my phone that we were live. So that's what's going to happen with you guys if you subscribe.
Exactly. And it's my buddy Mike, one of my favorite guys, a different buddy Mike, and one of my favorite guys of all time. He always thinks that I'm picking on him when I'm talking about my buddy that disagrees with this, my pessimistic buddy. He always thinks I'm talking about him, which most of the time I am, but he is actually one of the smartest guys I've ever met about football. He actually played under Joe Walton, Robert Morris for a little bit back in the when he started up that program in the 90s. Just a fantastic football mind. I would love to do a show with him. He's a big fan of yours, Tony. He said that. He goes, he seems like the nicest guy. I'm like, he's our age. He goes like, no, I thought he was like 28.
Wow.
I'm like, no, so I mean, I figured.
I do a lot of spinning, so.
Spinning. Oh gosh. Ken McNair says this right now. Ken from Jersey, vodka drinker. You see the Jets on Tony Brooks James. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday.
Here's the thing, and you know what? We can't really complain about Jalen Samuels right now. We can, because he's not the running back that is going to go ahead. I think Trey Edmonds is more of a natural running back than Jalen Samuels is. But Jalen Samuels is that complement. He's that guy that you bring in on third down, or you go in and bring in like the pistol formation just to go ahead and screw with everybody's heads. And he's going to take a screen pass for 25, if not more. He did a lot against New England last year too. So there you go. You just have to get all the pieces back together. Yeah. But what I'm saying and what you're saying is, look, the defense is going to have to carry the team, but the offense is going to catch up. Right. Maybe not all the way, but they're going to catch up enough. Blue Ice 12 says this about TBJ. Let's just call him TBJ because Tony Brooks James is too hard for me. He doesn't look afraid to hit the holes and run. No, man. He's got Tony's got some jets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tony. Not you, Tony. I mean, unless you have a private jet that we don't know about.
I don't have jets of any kind. running or planes.
So now this is the big thing I want to talk about here. Oh wow. DemXN play ZYT. You could have saved your $1.99 if you would have just given me about 15 seconds. This was what I was going to talk about next. But yeah, look, fourth down on your own 34-yard line. I think it was 4th and 1. But here we go. 4th and 1, your own 34-yard line, 5 minutes left in the game. What a ballsy play. I don't know who called it. I have no clue who called it. Maybe that was Coach Randy. I doubt it because I mean, I don't think he would be able to call for an Uber if you dialed the first 6 digits for him. But no, okay, was that mean? Good. Because I'm not a fan, but I don't like the way he's treated Mason. He throws him under the bus every single Thursday. But here's the thing. Joe Blow saying Tomlin called it. Ryan Kellerman says Tomlin called it. Dante Harris, Wes Hickok, thank you. Yeah, ballsy play. I love it. I've seen Belichick do it. And screw it up. I remember about 10 years ago against the Colts when it was the Colts and Patriots like crazy. But you know what? And if it doesn't work, we're on him. We're calling for his head right now. But when it works, you can't deny it.
And what a vote of confidence in Mason Rudolph. And they didn't just hand it off. He had him throw the ball. So that was if you want to know what they think of Mason Rudolph's abilities, I think that play might have answered that question.
I think that worked to his advantage. Oh, wait, real quick. You don't call Ubers by phone?
No, it's the app on you have to download the app and
really
and do it that way. Yeah.
Kyle, I never knew that, man. And gosh, I had no idea. Well, see, I don't call Ubers, but there's an Uber app. Ubers are great, especially. I mean, I know one particular guy. He's a fantastic Uber driver. I love this guy. I know you give them ratings. What's the highest rating? A 5?
Yeah.
I would give this guy like a 17. I mean,
wow,
I don't call him, but I have been in an Uber once or twice, but I wasn't the one who got on the app. So that's really neat. And I know Uber Eats has an app. That's funny. You know, I talk about this a lot. I'm a scout leader. And so it was over the summer and we were having a meeting and one of the scouts said, "Hey, can I be excused a second?" He's an 8th grader. I'm like, "Sure, no problem." So he comes back with like 3 cups of like McDonald's Frappuccinos or whatever, and gave them to 2 buddies. And I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, I said, "What did you do?" He said, "Yeah, I called Uber Eats or DoorDash or something." I'm like, I was having visions of Spicoli ordering a pizza in Fast Times at Ridgemont High in Mr. Hand's history class. I mean, I thought that was amazing. And his mom came up to me like a couple of weeks later and she's like, "I am so sorry. I can't believe it did." I'm like, "No, that was awesome, Gavin's mom. That was really cool." I mean, but next time he's going to order me one. That's all I ask. Vodka drinker giving us $6. The guy who called the 4th down play also called the play that ended in a safety. Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Yeah, but your Pro Bowl guard whiffed on the block. So, I mean, sometimes it comes down to execution.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, we can go ahead and say that. Look, I really thought I thought they should have handed that ball off to Trey Edmonds there. I mean, he would have got some room. But you know, and he had Wes is saying that Tomlin admitted to making that bad call. Hey, I like that about him. I mean, you know, he'll say that, you know, it was a bad call. Getting bent with Bo just said, "Knock if you're with me." That's if you watched Hard Knocks with knock on wood if you're with me. John Gruden from Hard Knocks. That's pretty funny. Yeah, getting bent with Bo does say safeties in back-to-back games is unacceptable. I definitely thought it was Mason's fault, the first safety against the Colts, holding the ball too long.
Right.
He actually, he held the ball too long yesterday too. But really, I thought I wish they would have handed that ball off. But you know, you can't be perfect. But let's get back to what we're talking about, though. 4th and 1 on the 34. That doesn't work. You're done.
Right.
I mean, you're probably going to lose that game. But the good thing about it is entrusting your defense. Okay. maybe they're thinking that they're just down by one because they're going to go ahead and kick a field goal, and you have time to go down and kick a field goal. Um, Maybe that's what they're looking for there. I don't know, but all I know is when they called that play, I was just like, they're actually doing it, and I couldn't believe they were actually doing it. And when it worked, I'm like, game over. I mean, this is what, when you hit on that play, you just knock all the air out of that team.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. Um, you might have thought it was dumb, but it worked. And here's the thing. We could say, well, if it didn't work, you're dead. Yeah, I just said that. However, it worked. Celebrate it, because it's all about risk. The only thing Mason did yesterday that was absolutely stupid was the shuffle pass. Yeah, Wes, that was a rough play. And they got away with it. They definitely did get away with it. I still think Mason's playing a better brand of football, and as he keeps on going, so, and I do want to welcome into the game, not the game. I want to welcome into the podcast. He's not on the podcast, but our producer has showed up. He helps us out. He's not. It's our very own stat geek, Dave Schofield. He's not on the show, but he takes care of us. This isn't something that it's his responsibility. He just does this because he wants to help us out when he can. So he's putting the stuff up on the screen now for me, so I could go ahead and think, because I'm a bad multitasker, guys. I mean, when I try to read and then I try to do all this stuff. So he's helping me out, and I appreciate it. We love us some Dave. And by the way, Dave, I know you're listening. I got to say this, that anybody, you got to go back and watch Dave Schofield before the game with Steeler fans. Awesome. I mean, when he's at the game, like I said, he was with Pittsburgh Dad. I'm not forgiving you for that yet, but everybody else you were with, getting on there, that's a lot of fun, man. It's just the energy that you bring to it. Great work. Fantastic. So Brian Kimball says Mason would look a lot better with a consistent running back. Got to keep James Conner healthy. I think James Conner is the key to making that offense run at this time. Bottom line to it, it's got to be JC 3-0. And when he's in there, he's magic. And I keep on going back to that Miami game with him, because before that Miami game, he had 235 yards rushing, he had 231 yards receiving, and he was moving the chains receiving. Then that Miami game, he has 150 total yards, 145 of them were on the ground. And that's where he really came alive. And so I'm telling you, we need more. We need so much more James Conner. So with that being said, get healthy. You need him against Cleveland. You need him for the rest of the year. So there you go. If the wide receivers, this is Melvin Do2. Oh, whoa, Melvin Do2. Is that Melvin? Because I know Melvin's last name is D. Is that the Melvin we were just talking about from the old Blog Talk Radio Hangover days? If that is, you got to let us know. I think that's Melvin D. If the wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends catch the ball yesterday, Mason throws for 250, 300. They have to help them out. Yeah, gosh, definitely. I cannot agree more. And I'm gonna bring this up. Tony, it is. It's Melvin. Woo! One of my all-time favorites. This is the first time I've had him on the podcast. I just hooked up with him on Twitter recently, and yes, it is awesome. So we got Ken on here. We've got Melvin. We got to find Bryce and Nick and Vito. We need those guys. Yes. All right. Yeah, but that's very true. We need the help from those guys. But those guys are getting better. Those guys play with a lot of heart. Those receivers are playing with heart. I love to see Jay Wash have that great game. I mean, even when he fumbled, you just got to protect the ball better. But he was off to the races, and he it was a beautiful run. I'm not going to say he was off to the end zone, but it was amazing. But
Right.
now it's called cleanup. It's called tweaking. That's all they need to do.
Right.
Yinzer Life 77. When it works, people cheer from the highest towers, and when it doesn't work, people think that someone should get fired for it. Yeah, that's true, but it worked, and we're taking it, and that's the bottom line. Because Bad and Tony said so.
Mhm.
But you know what? I mean, I love the call because we've seen it so many times. Even in the Ben Roethlisberger days, you blow leads late. I mean, last year there was a lot of leads blown in the fourth quarter, and we haven't really been accustomed to it. And it happened last year a whole heck of a lot. But you have the defense you could trust so much more now. So you really gotta stick with that. And I love the fact that they went ahead and they trusted, and that's a great call. I'm telling you what, he's a coach of the year candidate right now because, and I put it in Fact or Fiction that's coming out this week. Man, I have never seen him win with less.
Yeah.
And this is the best performance I have ever seen from this guy. There you go. I know I rip on Randy Fichtner all the time. I know I rip on Danny Smith Jr. all the time, but I like them when they do something right. I just wish they do it more. But I do have to rip on Danny Smith Jr. right now. Did you see that huge wad of gum he had in his mouth yesterday? It's like, I'm like, man, my jaw would like crack and fall apart.
It was disconcerting for sure.
Deal with it, which is one of my favorite names. Deal with it. Hey, just deal with it. All right, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that Davis will be better than Edmonds in his spot? I think Edmonds is getting better. I think Davis is a professional and a really good one. I think you have wealth, you have depth now.
Yeah,
at safety.
Right.
You have. I don't want to say that. I still don't think you have depth at corner. Because when one of those guys go down, it's already Burns time, and that scares the living bejeebers out of me. And I never knew I had bejeebers until I knew of Artie Burns. And now I have no more bejeebers because of him. And so, but I mean, I like the fact that you have Cam Sutton in there. But to me, Cam and Mike Hilton, they're depth, but they're your slot guys.
Right.
So, there's depth at slot, but I love the depth at safety, and that when Chad, excuse me, I want to call him Chad Scott. My gosh, Chad Scott from way back the 1997 number one pick for the Steelers. But when Sean Davis comes back, hey, they were both from Maryland. There you go. Mm-hmm. Chad Scott and Sean Davis from Maryland.
Very
That's
good.
why I did that. So when he comes back, you've got some wealth there, and you need to have more depth. How about that catch by James Washington in the end zone? Snowman, another $5. Thank you so much, my friend. That was pretty spectacular. Yeah. I mean, and it was, like they weren't going to look at that one long. They didn't really have to.
Right.
Because it was just absolutely phenomenal.
I thought it was a great throw too. A professional throw by Rudolph. He put it where he had to put it.
Dave, let's bring up Brandon Reese. Let's do this one first. Our front office is player of the year with Bush, Nelson, and Fitzpatrick. Guys, yeah, I could go with that. That is, they're definitely a player of the year. Let's throw in another one. Let's throw in the fact that Mark Barron is playing pretty well for this team. When in spots. You're not getting 16 great games out of him, but there's a couple games where he was definitely on my he was leading the team in tackles in a few games, and he was definitely on my list as one of the players of the game. Brandon Reese, mark my word, this Steelers team will be extremely scary in the playoffs. Man, if you can just get everybody back on offense, you get that running game going. I'm telling you, that running game gets going. Tony, what's going to happen to the passing game?
Well, they're going to have to respect the run, and it's gonna open things up downfield. I mean, that's been the one issue that they've had. Yesterday, there were so many people, they were daring them to pass because they weren't afraid of the run. So, yeah, if you get James Conner back, he's like you said, he's the key.
Well, and people are giving them some heck like playoffs. Come on, let's just get to 8-8. Hey, you're 5-4 right now.
Right.
Remember in 2016, you're 4-5 after the Dallas debacle. And you go to the AFC Championship game. Now, of course, that was with different personnel. But what I'm saying is right now, you're the number 6 seed, and some things are happening too. And we'll go ahead and talk about that. Gyro, they got to stop with these close games. I'm going to get a heart attack eventually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've been told I have a big heart, and I used this joke the other day, and mine's going to explode very soon because of the Steelers. So I agree with you. I want to talk about the playoff race, Tony. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I know it's too early. It's only been 9 games, but mid-November is when you go ahead and start talking about it. You really start talking about seeding. Last week we took a couple teams. We took the Colts and we took the Bills. We looked at their schedule. The Bills against the Browns, they really took a step back. Their schedule is not easy. In fact, they have Baltimore coming up. And they don't have an easy schedule whatsoever.
No, not at all.
And so when you're looking at these other teams when they're playing, look, I know you focus on Cleveland first, and that's the thing. I mean, because if you don't win your games, if you don't do your job, no one else is going to do it. I get it. One game at a time, Vodka. I promise you, I get it. But if we just do one game at a time, then we have no show. So
that's right. It would be the laziest podcasters ever.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you look at other teams, and so the next team, the new team to go ahead and look at is the Raiders. Yeah. And you look at their schedule, they have the easiest schedule of all time. Not of all time. I mean, that's ridiculous, but they have a pretty easy schedule. And then I'm thinking of something. So immediately you're like, okay, we got to root against the Raiders. Do you actually root against the Raiders, Tony? They are a half game behind the Chiefs right now.
Right.
The Chiefs have a very tough schedule going forward. Do you root for the Raiders to win that division and get the Chiefs on out of there?
I would. I would because that increases your chances of doing something in the playoffs, provided you get there. Because I think I'd rather play the Raiders than the Chiefs in the playoffs. I don't know about anybody else, but I'd rather take Derek Carr over Patrick Mahomes as far as an opponent.
And I get it. Yeah, seriously, we've got to go ahead and get through Cleveland first, but I'm going to tell you this, and I'll bring up Vodka. And Vodka, I respect you. And that's not. And he's all caps in me, so that means he's serious. Let's break Cleveland down on the stream. Can't. We're not going to break down Cleveland right now because we're the hangover. We're rehashing and looking forward. But the thing is, I've got another show with Dave Schofield and Jeff Hartman on Thursday nights. It's called the Steeler Preview. If I preview that game now and I break them down, then I've got nothing to do then. And then is there like a motorcycle? Is Evil Knievel in your living room, Tony? What was that?
I think he just drove down the street, but
wow!
I live on a pretty famous street, so I live in the same neighborhood as Cower. So I mean,
no way.
It's probably one of his friends.
Did you date his daughters back in the day?
I don't know if I would be allowed to legally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's not go any further than that. But can you imagine going to Bill Cower's house to ask his daughter to the prom?
Oh.
Can you see that? Like, children. Yeah,
it would have to be after a win for sure. Have to be happy.
Okay, wait. This is really funny. That was biker Baker Mayfield.
Wow. He picked the wrong guy. He picked the wrong guy who threatened him.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Baker's looking for me now because he knows I want to fight him. Yeah, look, I mean, that Cleveland game, I mean, we could talk a little bit about it, but the thing about Cleveland, Tony, is, Baker Mayfield, he does have the ability to light it up. You've got 2 stud receivers in Jarvis Landry and OBJ. But the real guy, and Melvin's bringing him up, is Nick Chubb as the threat with Cleveland.
Right.
And that's true. But there's another threat, another Ohio guy who just got a chance to come back and play. Kareem Hunt scares me too.
Right.
So, and you know who else scares me? I know we got to stop Chubb. We got to stop Hunt. And then that crazy Myles Garrett on the other side of the ball.
Yes, Big Al's going to have his hands
Wow. Mayfield, Fichtner, or Pittsburgh Dad? Who wants to fight bad more? You know what? I
think Pittsburgh Dad would just berate you. He would just berate you, and Baker Mayfield's one who wants to fight you.
Yeah, I mean, do you think I could kick Randy Fichtner's ass?
He looks too nice. He looks too nice. He wouldn't.
No, he's kind of a jerk because of what he's doing. Go back, listen to the preview the other day. I had a rant because I first said I wanted to drink a soda with him. I thought I'd have a pop with him, but no soda for him because everything he's doing to Mason Rudolph on these on these Thursday shows driving me crazy. But you know, I'm not sure who could go ahead. I mean, I could possibly take Pittsburgh Dad, but I have a feeling if I did meet him, I'd really like him, and that's why I don't want to meet him. Like back in the day, I never wanted to meet David Letterman because I was thinking that, man, if I met David Letterman, he'd disappoint me and I wouldn't like him, and I'd be upset. Like the time when I met Nick Tortelli from Cheers, Dan Hedaya, and he kind of blew me off. He was kind of a jerk, and I was like 15. I was devastated, and then anyways, I mean, but I have a feeling that the reason I don't want to meet Pittsburgh Dad is I'd probably like him. He seems like a really nice guy, and but I could probably beat him in a fight, though. That's what I'm saying. But I am 47, and I'm kind of getting that belly going too much. So, you know, I mean, I really shouldn't be fighting anybody. I am a lover, not a fighter. I haven't been in a fight since a guy named Gary back in 1986, and I was in 10th grade. And really, the only reason I won the fight was because he swung and missed and hit the paper towel dispenser, and I took credit for it because I'm that guy. But Brandon Reese, bold prediction: Texans 1 loss, Pitt 2nd seed.
Wow. Slow down.
Whoa.
Slow down.
Let's pull out the Vinny Vega on this one, Brandon Reese. Vinny Vega, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. That's a bold statement. I didn't do it as cool as Travolta. That's a bold statement.
One bridge at a time.
You know, too bad we didn't have little sound bites here. I would do half of Pulp Fiction, but that's a bold statement. Would probably be my number one. Hey, look, a lot of people want Switzer cut. Ryan Kellerman wants some cut, and he's all caps in it. So you know he really wants some cut. Gosh, you know he's just not really doing anything right now.
I think we owe maybe Eli Rogers an apology because I thought that Switcher would be an upgrade as far as the two of them were concerned, but I think Rogers is the better receiver. I don't know what he's doing right now, but if he's still out there, maybe he's somebody you can bring in late in the year.
Dave, bring up Maxwell McCormick, please. And Maxwell asks, is Fichtner gone when Ben comes back? I don't think so because that's his boy. Yeah. That's the only reason Fichtner has a job is because Ben loves him. And the only reason that Fichtner is not fully committed. Now, he's probably fully committed. But what I'm saying is the only reason that Fichtner, I kind of feel like he still feels this obligation to Ben, so he doesn't want to get too invested with Mason Rudolph. I don't know, but no, I think he's safe. In fact, I think he's rubbing oils like essential oils on Ben's elbow and arm every night. I'm like, hey Ben, it's time for your elbow rub down. I've got some sassafras and lavender. Let's try that. I mean, Deontay Spencer is the upgrade for the special teams. We had him. All caps, Merritt Huber. I agree with you. Deontay Spencer should be on this team.
And that's not it's not 2020 because it's not hindsight because we were talking about it right after he got cut. We
were
mentioned it.
mad.
Yes.
We were mad. And you know what? I still I still get flack from Jeff and Dave on that. They laugh at me about Deontay Spencer and they thought I was going to do the same thing for Tuzar Skipper, but I'm not upset about the Tuzar Skipper thing because they had their chance to bring him back. But if you had a chance to bring back Deontay Spencer, I would do it. He's fast.
I mean, how can the return game be any worse than it is right now? It's just non-existent.
Hey, Ken from Jersey says something real quick. He said, Feener has a job because he has ties to Tomlin. That's very true. Butler has ties to Tomlin as well. And then he was Ben's quarterback coach. But I mean, that's the guy that Ben wanted. They never even interviewed they never posted the position. They was like, boom. Hey, Ken, you're wearing a jersey. What jersey are you wearing in that picture? Just curious. You've got to just put the number. I want to know what jersey you have on. So Yenzer Life 77. Did you see that punt return? Caught it at the 5, ran it to the 8, then ran it back to the 5 over the course of 6 seconds. Who are we talking about there? Is that
Switzer right before the safety when he was tackled at the 5?
And Dante Harris says he still should get fired, ties or not. Yeah, I get it. Ken's wearing the Big Ben jersey. Ken, are you going to wear a number 2? You're going to get a Mason jersey? There you go. So, of course, I think everybody's next jersey right now is probably everybody wants a Minka jersey. I have my Minka jersey on order. I want a Deontay Johnson jersey. That's the guy I want right now. I have my James Washington jersey. That's and I have my Rosie Nix jersey, but I kind of want something like that. And I don't think anyone else has a Steven Nelson jersey right now, so I want that. Ken McNair says not yet, but he just bought a 90, so he's got his TJ Watt. Man, okay, so we're gonna close out the show. So if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them up. But real quick. Let's talk about this real quick. We talked about how Minkah Fitzpatrick could possibly be Defensive Player of the Year. But we're talking also about how TJ Watt could be Defensive Player of the Year. Now, you've got other guys like Nick Bosa. You've got Myles Garrett. You've got Stephon Gilmore. You've got guys like that are playing very good. There's a very good brand of football on the defensive side. But if you're picking, if we had it's kind of like a primary, okay? Because you never want, remember in the Heisman, if you had 2 guys from one team, neither of them usually win because they split votes.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go ahead and do that, do you think that you don't want to do that? So who would you throw your hat behind? Your vote behind? Are you throwing it behind Minkah for Defensive Player of the Year, or are you throwing it behind TJ?
It would be Minkah because of the difference he's made since he's been here. I saw a stat on Facebook since he's been here. They've gone from 445 yards a game as a defense to 300. They've gone from 1 turnover a game to 3.5. But at the same time, TJ Watt's been so consistent since he started, and he's almost entering Antonio Brown territory, meaning we just take for granted what he does. I mean, he goes out there and gets you 2 or 3 sacks every game. He's always in the backfield. He's always almost this close to getting to the quarterback on just about every pass play. So, he's deserving too. It's just that Minkah is just such a force of nature right now. It'd be hard to vote for anybody else.
You know what? I don't think I could argue with that whatsoever. I love TJ, but I would probably have to agree with you on Minkah there because he's just having one of those transcendent years. Do you think Donnie Shell makes the Hall this year? Man, one of them's got to make it. Either LC or with the extra guys. There's 20 guys going in, 20 older guys going in. If Donnie Shell and LC Greenwood, if one of them does not go in, I'm going to go crazy. Both of them deserve to go in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at Donnie Shell's stats, his career stats, they compare favorably to Troy and Rod Woodson and guys like that. So, I mean, he definitely has the stats. He was just overshadowed by a lot of guys on that 70s defense.
Which, and so was LC. And LC LC was one of the best.
Right.
And he would have gotten the credit on any other team. Gyro, what is wrong with this offense after we take a lead? It seems like we freeze up. I'm just going to say this, Tony. I think what they do is they just they don't want to make that huge mistake. And right. I did not really have a problem with the play calling when it was less than 2 minutes and they didn't take that much time. They had 3 timeouts. They knew they could run it, but they knew they can go ahead and get rid of all those timeouts just like that. And I think it worked. I'm not a big fan of prevent mode, but I don't think the defense is I think the defense can do so much better and hold them, especially when you have, at that point, you had a 5-point lead and they couldn't win with a long field goal. So, but what I'm saying is that, if you pass the ball with a lead that late in the game and it falls incomplete, you stop the clock. So that's what they were going on. So with that being said, we're going to wrap everything up. I am going to say to all of you, I appreciate all of you in our live chat. Remember, subscribe, you tell friends about it, you go ahead and hit like, you do all that. If you want to support us, and I know you do, we've got 155 of you here in the live chat. Do you remember when we were lucky to get 50, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
So this is feeling really good. Even with vodka yelling at me in all caps, I love you. You're my buddy. I appreciate you. We will focus on Cleveland. I trust you. The Steelers are focusing on Cleveland. I could tell in the Mike Tomlin press conference that he was they're going to be focused and they're going to be up for this. So here you go. Don't forget the Stat Geek later on tonight. Steelers preview is tomorrow. Steelers preview is tomorrow night. I guess I'm on tomorrow night, Tony. There you go. I know they told me, but sometimes I just don't pay attention. So there you go. So support Dave on Stat Geek tonight. Man, that guy knows stuff that I just, I just shake my head. I'm like, this is amazing. I thought I knew stuff. This guy does too.
Very good.
There's something here that I wanted to say but Melvin's doing it for us. Look, thanks to all the veterans. Bottom line to it, we are here because of the men and women who fought for us. We're here because of the bravery and the people that went and said, we're doing it. Might not come back, but I'm fighting for this country. Whether they had to or not, they went. I want to thank my father. I want to thank my father-in-law. I want to thank my stepson. I have some great friends out there. I'll mention one. He's a Patriots fan, but one of the greatest men I'd ever mentioned. One of my buddies, Pat Casey. Another buddy who's a Raiders fan, Joe Chickalo. These men fought for our country. I appreciate them greatly. I also want to mention another veteran, Lieutenant Ashley White, who passed away in battle back in 2011. There's actually going to be a movie about her life. There's a book about her life, and she is, I'm very close friends with her brother and her sister-in-law. So thank you for serving for all of us, because without that, we are not here talking about a football game. I mean, that's what we're having fun talking about, a football game, but without everybody who sacrificed. And on this day, I feel like, man, I wish I would have done it. And I didn't. And that's one of my regrets. I wish I would have done it. I thank all of you. And I thank everybody, any of our vets in the live chat and any of our vets in Steeler Nation. Thank you from the bottom of this big old heart. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting us, because we love you. And thank you for our non-veterans. Thank you for supporting us too, and thank you for recognizing everything that our vets have done for us. This is a special day, and don't forget it. All right. With that being said, for Tony Defeo, for Dave Schofield back at the home office, my name is Bryan Anthony Davis. Thank you for serving. You, my friends, have just been hungover, and go Steelers.